the Miami Heat in game number 1, let's look at the complimentary players, so to speak, right? Because those guys didn't necessarily show up. And I understand why, right? I don't make excuses, but I like to give reasons, right? You don't make excuses, but I do give reasons. Miami Heat had an emotional game a week ago. Think about it. It was a week ago. They were in Boston. Sorry about this, Brockman. I didn't want to bring it up.
Just when I thought I had healed.
Yeah, just when you thought you had healed, I ripped that Band-Aid right off you, brother. I am sorry, but I got to keep the Band-Aid off for just a little bit. But it was just a week ago that the Miami Heat were in Boston in a Game 7 scenario, and yet they found a way to win. And right after, remember, it was reported the Miami Heat booked a flight to Denver after the game, regardless of what happens in Game 7. I mean, everybody does that, by the way.
Being responsible in terms of logistics.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a scheduling planner, you probably want to do that just in
Proper
case.
planning.
Yeah, let's make sure we pack up the plane accordingly, because we may have some other places to be. So they take the long flight, from the New England area, from the Massachusetts area, all the way to Denver. You get there a couple of days, and guess what? You got media availability. Do you really have a chance to understand what just happened and where you taking off? Game 1 was on Thursday. It looked like they were in a situation where not everybody was ready. Then you got to deal with the elevation, the altitude. Trust me, I know what altitude sickness is. I've had it before. It is not fun. But after game 1, I fell victim. And I got to stop falling victim like so many of us in sports who analyze or look, or fans. We look at one game and says, oh, there it is.
There it is.
Man, Joker, he's the best. Joker is going to, oh, man, no one can stop Joker. Well, that still was true in game 2. He still put up 41 points. But it was the game plan, I think, of Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat saying, you know what? It's not about stopping Joker. It's not about stopping Nikola Jokic. He is going to get his. Great players, a 2-time MVP, he is going to get his points. He's going to get his shots. But we can't let the other guys get comfortable. We can't let Michael Porter Jr. get comfortable. We can't let Aaron Gordon, like I mentioned earlier, have 4 or 5 dunks to start the game off. You can't do that. You can't let Kentavious Caldwell-Pope get into a rhythm. Mm-hmm. You want to make him have to make some bonehead plays down the stretch, fouling 3-point shooters. That's what you want. That's how the game is. And also the number 2, right? We all know Joker can't do it by himself. He needs a sidekick. Well, Jamal Murray in game 1 gave him 26. Game 2 only gave him 18. Made him work for it. That's what the adjustment was. But then it was also, too, it was the players who I talked about, fellas, that you have to talk about, the undrafted. I mean, do we have a name yet for the Miami Heat undrafted players yet? Like, that's the first thing you always see, the graphics of the Miami Heat players. Oh, 7 undrafted players. This is... Well, do they have a name yet? The undrafted 7?
That is a good question.
You know what I mean? Like, do the people, if there's people out there, help me out. What is the name of all these undrafted players?
The undesirables?
Oh, I like that.
Right now, they're the Magnificent 7.
Magnificent 7. I say that because in game 1, they looked wide-eyed. In game 2, they had ice in their veins. I mean,
South Beach 7.
South Beach 7. I like that.
Shout out Hoskins.
Duncan Robinson, 3 points first game, by the way, second game.
You forgot to, you neglected to mention him at the beginning when you were thanking Miami Heat, because Duncan Robinson was the man.
Oh, he was balling last night. Duncan Robinson had his game going, right? I mean, he had the pump fake going. He was definitely in his bag. Max Strus had as many points as I did in game 1. Which was 0. So Max Strus was in his bag. He gave me 14 points last night. They haven't even got the game that Caleb Martin gave the Boston Celtics in game 7. He's only had 6 points in the first 2 games. I'm just saying. I'm just analyzing the game.
You talk about Denver and you bring up Boston. Denver kind of looked like Boston last night.
Very
a little
true.
shell-shocked, kind of played really well in the first half. They had a big lead, and then for whatever reason, Boston did it all season long, just coasted in the third quarter.
Coasted.
Just like, we're good. We got this in the bag. We don't need it. And then all of a sudden, whoa, we're losing? Like, look at this. We're down?
Well, start smelling yourself.
What happened? And then all of a sudden, the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
did Miami? I still think Miami hasn't missed. And they're still shooting, and they still haven't missed in the
Wait,
fourth
they shot
quarter.
for over 50% from three. Like that's just
ridiculous.
Right.
I was going to combine outrageous and ridiculous. I need to make that a new word.
really.
It just feels like Denver just kind of looked like Boston last night. And then what's Boston doing right now? They're at the crib. We know how this ends. This ends with Miami hoisting the Larry O.B. in like a week and a half.
Wow.
If Denver keeps playing like this. Michael Porter Jr., dude, you can't play. Like, if you're going to be standing around looking lost on defense, if there's a still image going around of Michael Porter shooting a fadeaway jumper being double-teamed, and Murray and Jokic are standing under the basket all alone like, hey, bro, I'm open. Like, what is happening? Like Anthony Bryant on LeBron's bucket to pass Kareem as all-time winning scorer.
Yeah, Thomas Bryant.
Like, you're not getting the ball.
Brockman, ironically, with the Nuggets
MPJ, you're not LeBron. Pass to the open guy. Like, what, man, oh, man.
Well, that's what happens. The way that you win game one, you get comfortable.
Yeah.
We can start to do things. You experiment. You have another one of my coaches, man. All my coaches have given me all my cliches. So just so you guys know, I'm a walking cliche of the coaches I've been around. But one of my coaches, I remember a linebacker coach say, you're out there playing a little too loose. Playing a little too loose, meaning you're not honing in, you're not focused in, you're not seeing, you're kind of just out there playing. And if you start to just go out there and play, you miss the little things, you miss the fundamentals, you miss the open pass that was there because you just, I want to get my shot down because you've missed a couple shots. Now you miss a couple shots and you're looking around like, what do I do now? What do I do now? Because Murray has had that happen, right? He's had some up and down quarters. Yep. Jamal Murray I'm talking about. But, man, think about it. He makes that three at the end last night.
By the way, you thought that was going in.
I thought it was going in. I mean, especially that last angle that you saw. Like, that last angle was like, I think it was right on
1
target.
inch further and that thing is wet.
And even post-game, he said that, like, yeah, we're talking now about how we didn't play well and how this we did. He said, I've made that shot before.
Shot in the air to tie it.
If I make that shot and we win in overtime, are we having this discussion about it? We had a lackadaisical quarter in the beginning of the first half, beginning of the second half.
Yep.
We have a different conversation had I made that shot. So let's just be honest. But I still look at just both sides of it. Again, Eric Spoelstra. And then, you know what? I got to give another clap too. One more clap for her. Thank you. Because as we are older in our age, fellas, you really respect the older veterans. I know I do. So I talked about Kevin Love, but then there's always that time where you need an adult on the court just to keep you calm. I said Kevin Love, but let's not think about the other KL. Oh, look, I just thought about that right now.
How about that?
Kyle Lowry.
Ooh.
We forgot about that.
He hit some threes.
He hit some threes. He kept it calm. He made game-winning plays. And you got guys that have winning championship experience, that have won championships in this league, in the NBA. It's something to be said. Like I told you, I watch these post-game press conferences like it's the Bible. Like I'm sitting here getting all the information because they're telling me the story. I learn more about the game through the comments of the players. You know who won, you know who lost just by their temperament. And Jimmy Butler still hasn't had a Jimmy Butler type of game because he's doing so much. And I think when you get to Miami, it is going to be a fun game number 3, but that's just my initial analysis.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.